Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. That was a lot of fun. The Rangers defeat the New York Islanders 6-5 in overtime in the Stadium Series at MetLife Stadium. So the Rangers remain undefeated in these outdoor games. They're now 5-0. They had the Winter Classic win in 2012 versus the Flyers, then the 2 wins at Yankee Stadium versus the Devils and Islanders, and then in 2018, the Winter Classic against the Buffalo Sabres at Citi Field. And now 6 years later, a little more than 6 years later, the Rangers defeat the Islanders in a pretty insane comeback. Rangers did not play well in this game for the most part. They were down 4-1. They were down by 2 late. They were down by 2 with less than 5 minutes to go, to be exact. The Rangers cut that lead from down 2 to down 1 with 4:04 left. They got a couple of power play goals. Zibanejad ties it up with a minute and a half left in regulation. Then Artemi Panarin wins it in overtime, 10 seconds into overtime on a pretty crazy play as well. This game had a little bit of everything. Matt Rempe makes his NHL debut in an outdoor game. First person to ever do that, and gets into a fight, and is literally his first shift right as the puck was dropped. He gets into a fight with Matt Martin. So has a little bit of everything. And if you're an Islander fan, you got to be pretty distraught by this. This would have appeared to have been just your typical Islander type game, more so than a Ranger game. Well, the Rangers have had a very good ability of third period comebacks. That has been definitely a strength of this team, but not in the way of Peter Laviolette pulled the goalie twice, and the Rangers scored in both instances with a power play goal. So 2 6-on-4 goals. Like, that is pretty crazy. And the Rangers had not come back from a 3-goal deficit all season, but they do it in this environment, in this game. This was probably, I want to say, 80% Ranger fans. So MetLife Stadium, there was almost about, I think, 80,000 fans, a little shy of that. I think the attendance was maybe 79,000 or so. And it was mostly Ranger fans, as you would expect. But yeah, you gotta feel good about this one just based on the event. As far as like what it means in the long run, look, the Rangers did not play well in this game. Ryan Lindgren got hurt on the goal that made it 5-3 Islanders early in the third period. Lindgren took a stick to the face from Romanov. I didn't really hear any update after the game. Lindgren, I don't think this is going to be anything that's going to keep him out for a while, but as we know, Ryan Lindgren, there's just so many injuries that he sustains with his style of play, and what I always think of is, I don't think that his career is going to be a long one, unfortunately, or one that is as good as it could be if he didn't get hurt so much. That's going to catch up with him at some point. And that's a conversation for another day, but hopefully he'll be okay. Knowing him, maybe he'll miss a little bit of time at most, but I'd expect him to be back, barring something unforeseen. This was Igor Shesterkin versus Ilya Sorokin. Obviously, a lot of goals allowed from Shesterkin's side. That second goal by Horvat was a really bad goal by Igor. Other than that, though, I can't really blame him that much for the other goals allowed. The Rangers' defense was horrific in this game, just leaving Islanders wide open in front. It was soft. It was honestly lacking a bit of effort, but still give the Rangers credit for coming back and winning this game. It wasn't pretty at all, but they, for the most part, when you think of this season as a whole, they find ways to win. They're 36-16-3, so they have 75 points. They're on a 7-game winning streak, which is also kind of hard to fathom. And that winning streak, just from a time standpoint, dates back a while now. We're coming up on, is it 3 weeks or so? I think so, just because of the fact, I guess, because the Ottawa win was before the All-Star break. So the Rangers have not, the point is, the Rangers have not lost in a while. That last loss was the night before when they lost to Vegas. And they've done so well that they are only 1 point out of first place in the Eastern Conference. They've tied Boston flat, which is kind of crazy. And they're 1 point behind Florida, who, in my opinion, Florida is probably the most dangerous team in the East, just in terms of the East. Maybe in all of the NHL, but in terms of the conference, Panthers are legit, and the Rangers are 1 point behind them. And in terms of the whole NHL, Vancouver is the only one that has, any bit of a real lead, if you will, on the Rangers. Like, their points percentage is like over 700. So yeah, but this was fun. Let's jump into this one. Like I said, Rempe makes his debut. Blake Wheeler, he is going to be out for the season. You knew it didn't look good, and that injury against Montreal, and in fact, he is done for the season. Apparently, there's a chance if the Rangers make a deep enough run, he could be back for the playoffs. I'm very skeptical of that, but I guess that is good news in terms of, I thought he would have been like done regular season, postseason, like for sure. So the fact that they're even leaving that open is at least a glimmer of hope in terms of like Wheeler's career. But Rempe comes in. Belzile continues to be the healthy scratch. So Belzile wasn't sent down, but he was the 13th forward. Zach Jones, 7th defenseman. So everything was as you'd think it would. Igor gets the start. Next game, we'll see about Lindgren, and if he's out, then you figure Zach Jones will step in. But VZ moves up to that first line. Rangers score first. A minute and 28 seconds in, it's a goal for Erik Gustafsson. So it's his 5th goal of the season from Kakko and Brodzinski. So a shot from the point by Gustafsson goes off of Sorokin's shoulder and in. So a good shot, hard shot, but also sun glare would have been a factor maybe, but they pushed the start time back. We've seen that before in outdoor games where the sun could be an issue. So this game, the puck drop for this game was essentially moved back approximately 30 minutes, I'd say. It really, I thought that the weather would play more of a factor here, but it really didn't, because there were high wind gusts, but it didn't really seem to have a major impact one way or another. But the Rangers take that 1-0 lead there, but the Islanders tied up at 4:20, and the Islanders were way the better team in the first period. They outshot the Rangers 18-7. And what was also discouraging, too, they really killed the Rangers in faceoffs. The Rangers have prided themselves as being a really good faceoff team this year, and they have been, but boy, Islanders really got the better of them there. But, I should also mention, so Gustafsson scores at 1:20, and then you get the fight between Martin and Rempe off that next faceoff. So at 1:29, Rempe, his first second in the NHL, fights Martin. Held his own. He's a big boy. He's at least 6'8", Rempe. So he didn't play much. Let's see, how many minutes did Rempe play in this game? I don't think it was much. Yeah, not much at all. 4 minutes and 26 seconds. So I don't think that this is someone that is necessarily going to be up for a while. And of course, you got the trade deadline in a few weeks, but Rempe, they're giving him a look. He's interesting, I'll say that. I'm definitely intrigued by him in terms of his size, and I'm sure the Rangers are too, but like, Edstrom, I think, is some of the Rangers. There's a world in which he could maybe be trusted to have some role. Where Rempe, I think this is more of a short-term thing, but pretty cool for him. Gets into a fight with Matt Martin, and then the Islanders do score at 4:20. It's Nelson, his 23rd goal of the season from Mayfield and Clutterbuck. So in 2014, the Rangers beat the Islanders 2-1 at Yankee Stadium. The one goal scorer for the Islanders in that game was also Brock Nelson. So Nelson, he's always dangerous. He's got such a good shot. He was left too open, and he fires it past Shesterkin. And the unfortunate thing here was because Matt Martin was in the box, I believe Nelson took that spot, and it makes it 1-1. The Rangers do get a power play at 5:20. Scott Mayfield takes the first of 3 penalties. He boards Barclay Goodrow, but the Ranger power play is unsuccessful there. So kind of these power play issues continuing, although by the end it would be rectified, but there it was. And then to make it worse, a pretty big penalty is called on Lafreniere. They call it tripping. He trips Cizikas. I didn't think it was tripping. Do I think it was a penalty? Yeah, I don't have a problem with the penalty call, but tripping was strange. But this penalty would be a costly one because with only 3 seconds left on the 4-on-4, Bo Horvat scores his 22nd goal of the season from Dobson and Pelech at 7:18. So what hurts with that is at least if that Horvat goal is scored once it's 5-on-4, then the power play's over. You're back to 5-on-5, but it's on 4-on-4. So now they still have a power play. And 16 seconds after the Horvat goal, which was a bad goal by Shesterkin, horrible goal, Barzal then scores his 16th goal of the season from Nelson and Dobson And this was kind of an odd man rush goal where, the Rangers were kind of soft in terms of letting the Islanders into the zone. Barzal beats Lindgren, and with a nice little tip in over the glove of Shesterkin to give the Islanders a 3-1 lead. This period was all Islanders, 100%. What I also want to mention, this is the first time the Rangers have played the Islanders in a long time. I was actually at the last Ranger-Islander game, which was December of 2022. Just a weird scheduling thing, right? Where the Rangers only played the Islanders 3 times last year, and those 3 games happened early-ish in the season. Now you fast forward this year, and they happen to not have their first game until, mid-February, and there'll be 3 more games against the Islanders. So those 3 definitely will be interesting. So 3-1 Islanders going to the second, and to make matters worse, a bad penalty by Chris Kreider at the 34-second mark of the second. He hooks Pelech. Just a bad penalty by Kreider, and the Islanders score on the power play. It's Anders Lee, his 14th goal of the season from Engvall and Riley at 1:03. Just an easy deflection by Lee, where Trouba should have been more on him and just wasn't. Again, just very soft coverage by the Rangers defensively. And so it's 4-1 Islanders. So at this point, you're thinking, all right, this is probably fucked. Rangers haven't come back from 3-goal deficit all season. But today, they would. So the Rangers get a power play at 4:19. Lee slashes Zibanejad, and the Rangers do take advantage of this opportunity. They score on the power play, and it's a goal for Vincent Trocheck. His 17th goal of the season from Panarin and Fox at 5:36. So this was a shot by Panarin that was actually deflected off the stick of Trocheck up top. So it's one of those, you don't normally see that, where usually someone takes a shot from deep and it's deflected right near the goalie. This was actually right near Panarin, but it clearly goes off of the tip of Trocheck's blade. And so it's a goal, makes it 4-2. And the Rangers from there get a little bit of momentum. I didn't think the Rangers were really all that good in the second either. Shots were 17-13 Islanders. The Islanders had 35 shots through 2 periods. But, and Igor made some big saves along the way. Even though, did he play well? No. You give up 5 goals, simply put, it's not a good game. But Igor did make some big saves to kind of keep it where it was. So it's 4-2 at this point. And a really big goal at the end of the second for the Rangers, and it's Trocheck again. At 18:24 of the second, Trocheck scores his 18th goal of the season, of course, the second of the game, from Lafreniere and Lindgren. So Lafreniere kind of digging, and give him credit. I thought he had a pretty solid game and did some of the little things, and he was, trying to whack away at the puck, but ultimately Trocheck scores, and it does go over that red line. Barzal tried to keep it out, but it went in, and that was a big goal for momentum, and, as bad as Rangers play, they're only down by 1, so give 2 goals for Vincent Trocheck, who has just had a really, really great season for the Rangers. We go to the third, and the Islanders score a minute and 53 seconds in. So you're thinking, all right, all that momentum the Rangers had is gone, and it kind of was. Romanov scores his 6th goal of the season from Dobson. So what happens here is, in the corner, there's an incident between Romanov and Lindgren where Romanov takes a shot, and the follow-through of his stick hits Lindgren in the face. He's down and hurt. And so now what happens is Dobson takes a shot from the point. It goes off of Johnny Brodzinski's stick and right to an open Romanov, who easily scores. So a really bad, unlucky sequence for the Rangers there makes it 5-3 Islanders. And that score remained for a while. The Rangers, though, would get some power plays. It was exactly what they needed. However, the first one they don't score on. Mayfield trips Edstrom at 10:36. Rangers don't score. Then what was kind of a bit of a turning point. These are these little things end up making such a difference. Like I said, with the earlier sequence where Lafreniere takes the penalty and Horvat scores on the 4-on-4, all of that was huge. That was a big positive sequence for the Islanders. Here, Trocheck and Romanov both go off for roughing. So it's 4-on-4, which is advantage Rangers. When you're the team that's losing, you'd rather there be less players on the ice. So they're down by 2 goals. There's only 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. However, though, 30 seconds or so into that 4-on-4, Barzal hooks Keandre Miller. And that was important. And Peter Laviolette, and I don't always agree with this. I am more of the type, I don't always agree with the goalie pull. As soon as it is. But this was absolutely turned out to be a great decision by Laviolette. And I didn't know it at the time, but I don't think the Islanders have had 1 empty net goal this season, which is kind of crazy. And they've blown a lot of games late. And their penalty kill is the worst in the NHL. So you add all that up, and it kind of makes sense. And eventually what happens is it is a 5-on-3, but then the Romanov and Trocheck penalties come to an end, so it becomes a 6-on-4. It becomes a 6-on-4, and within that time, Chris Kreider scores. It's a patented Kreider goal. He deflects the puck off of a shot by Panarin. So it's Kreider's 28th goal of the season from Panarin and Trocheck on the power play. So Trocheck comes out of the box, which was helpful. And, not great coverage by the Islanders there either. You can't leave Kreider alone in front. It's an easy goal for him by Sorokin. Makes it 5-4. And then the Islanders take another penalty, and again, it's Scott Mayfield. So if you're an Islander fan, Scott Mayfield's probably public enemy number one. He takes a penalty at 17:32. He trips Lafreniere, and the Rangers have a 6-on-4 opportunity, and they tie it up at the 18:31 mark. It's Zibanejad with his 18th goal of the season from Fox and Lafreniere. So a nice pass from Lafreniere from behind the net. Fox, which is an unbelievable, only a player like Adam Fox could do. Great pass. And Zibanejad has a tough angle, but he is able to score. Like, that's the Mika that you're looking for. That great shot, that great slap shot from the left side, and he wires it past Sorokin. Not many players can score from that angle. And, Mika, it's been a really weird season, but Mika Zibanejad, in his Ranger career, and really in his hockey career, he does score a lot of big goals. So as much as he can be frustrating at times, he has a knack for getting the clutch goal, ties it up there. The Rangers even had some more chances after that, but we go to overtime. Ranger fans at this point are just, really in great spirits at MetLife Stadium. And the Rangers are a better overtime / shootout team than the Islanders. The stats bear that out, the eye test, whatever you want to call it. The Islanders, they make it to overtime a lot, and within that, they're not really too successful. After this game, they're 5-10 in the 3-on-3, and I don't think they're a whole lot better in the shootout. Let me actually see. They have 4 losses in the shootout, and they're 1-4 in the shootout, and they're 5-10 in the 3-on-3, whereas the Rangers, they're 7-1 in the 3-on-3 overtime and 1-2 in the shootout. So the Rangers are much better at 3-on-3, although you would think that they would have a good shootout team, but they've only made it 3 times. That's got to be one of the lower numbers of the league to only be involved in 3 shootouts, but that's here nor there. 10 seconds in, the Rangers win it. The Islanders gain quick possession off the faceoff, but Noah Dobson, and I'm not sure if it was the bad ice or whatever, Dobson with a really bad turnover. Good job by Panarin to stay aggressive. Panarin forces the turnover. He stays patient, tries to make a few moves on Sorokin. Sorokin makes the initial stop, but Panarin gets his own rebound, and the puck does cross the red line. Before that, Noah Dobson kind of wipes out, and the net goes off the moorings. So they had to review it, but ultimately, no doubt about it, the right call, because whether Dobson knocked it off or not, that puck was going in. It went in, and Artemi Panarin is the hero. Scores his 32nd goal of the season, which I believe matches a career high for him. So, to me, the big stars of this game ultimately were Panarin and Trocheck. I mean, you could certainly speak to a lot of other players who had good games, for sure, but for me, it's Panarin and Trocheck that really stood out more than anyone. And I thought Panarin at times really did have his struggles in this game, too. So, if he doesn't do that, then it's a completely different opinion, but a really, really fun win in this individual game. Like I said, I'm not going to take a lot out of it just from the season, but it's fun to look back on this game and say, hey, the Rangers won another outdoor game, 5-0. They have a reputation of being a really good outdoor team. So you know what they got to do? MSG, take the roof off. The roof has been what has been holding the Rangers back. But yeah, this was awesome. And, for the Rangers to beat their, one of their biggest rivals in the Islanders in a game the Islanders really needed, they get a point. But if you're an Islander fan, you're not feeling good after this one. So, 7-game winning streak for the Rangers. Now back to regular hockey. And in a couple of nights, the Rangers will be home against the Dallas Stars. And as I had said previously, I'd be pretty stunned if it's not Jonathan Quick. I think Quick will be in for that one. And this won't be easy. Dallas is a good team. The 34-14-7, and they beat the Rangers in Dallas earlier in the season. So, I've talked about how I wanted the Rangers to beat every team at least once. Well, that Rangers lost both times to Vegas, right? So that can't happen. But we'll see what happens with Dallas. But this won't be easy. And Dallas is really good on the road. And they've been generally good lately. They're 17-6-4. So I think this is going to be a really tough one, especially off the emotions of that Islander game. And you're on a 7-game winning streak. This will not be an easy game against Dallas. And so what I'm kind of hoping for, if it is quick, whoever it is, I'm hoping that quick, they're going to need some really good goaltending, I think, in this one to be able to get the win. Because we'll see what happens. And then after that, not for nothing, what will be a very interesting game versus the New Jersey Devils. So you got two opponents coming up here who, one in Dallas who's been really good this season, one in the New Jersey Devils who are right in the thick of the playoff race, and the Rangers would love nothing more than to keep them out. So definitely some interesting games coming up. But Rangers pull off the insane comeback, down by 3 goals in the second period, down by 2 goals with a little more than 4 minutes left in regulation. They are able to complete the comeback. They win at MetLife Stadium against the Islanders in overtime by a score of 6-5.